All right, all right. Good evening, everybody. This is another good evening of a podcast. With because I feel like a podcast, we're here to talk a lot about a lot of good things tonight, man. We got the NBA, some NFL things going on. We got some NIL issues going on in college football that we're going to discuss, and we're just going to keep it moving, man. We had a good show last week, but we're gonna continue having more and more as we go forward. So, hey man, what's been going on with you, Marv?
Taking it a day at a time, taking it a day at a time, living a dream. Reminding everybody that on February 9th, 2025, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. You know, just living a dream. Living the dream.
Yeah, man. Same here, man. Same here. Just life. Life is life, and as usual, watching these basketball games. I just watched the what's it, Golden State and what was Golden State? Golden
Clippers,
State.
Clippers, Clippers.
Yeah, that was a good game at the end. I saw a lot of people playing hot potato with that rock at the end, but they'll fix it going forward, man. But it's good to be here. Good to be talking to the people, and just we're gonna get this show on.
Yeah. I watched Kyle Kuzma was cooking them scrubs in the first half. I watched a little bit of that game.
Yeah,
I watched the Phillies get beat by the Cardinals. I don't know what happened today. It was 7-0. I'm like, Willer, you don't. It was just an off day for the Phils.
tell you the truth.
Uh,
I don't watch them Jokers until the end of August.
I know. I normally don't either, but it was just a Sunday. It wasn't too much on, so I'm like, 2:15 start. Let me check them out.
Yeah, but the first thing that I'm thinking about right away, man. Before I wanted to make sure I get this off, I watched the game when Luca went back to Dallas. I sat there and watched the entire game, and every time I'm watching them go up and down the court, and I'm watching AD on the backside. I see an AD that just wasn't there, right? I
Right.
just saw a guy that really didn't want to be there. I think he was just keeping the face to not, further antagonize what was going on with the fans, what's going on with the city, and what's going on with their whole situation. And then I watched Luca. He got, obviously, it's going to be tough because he grew up there. He was a teenager when he got there.
He was a pup when he came.
Yeah, and you get there and you saw him crying. I felt for him, because that was his first home in America. You know what I mean? Because you understand he's not from here, so he needs that structure. Regardless of whatever you feel about him, he needs that structure.
That,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
where he
He
grew
grew
up.
up there. That's where he grew up. So they ripped that from him, and he just had a child not too long ago, from what I understand. So he's going through that. But once he got through that emotional portion of it, he put them people on the grill. You know what I'm saying? Like
As he should.
yeah. And then what
As he
took the ball off for me was watching Nico Harrison be in the hallway in the tunnel watching the game because he's too scared to be out there with the rest of them.
he can't be with the fans right now.
Brother, let me
He
tell you
can't.
something. I don't see how this man, and I'll never champion for somebody to lose their job, right? I'll never, especially a black man. I'll never do that unless it's something just egregious to the point where you can't help but do it. And I think this is one of those situations. And the reason I say that, because I was reading up on this over the last week and a half, reading the different articles, just listening to the media down in Dallas, and a lot of it they were saying it came from the team, from the new owners that own the Mavericks, right? Not Cuban, because Mark Cuban's no longer there, but the new owners were the impetus behind getting rid of him. And then they kind of used Nico as the scapegoat. Even so,
Right.
oh, here, matter of fact, we got CJ coming on now. But even with that, right? They
What's going on,
still.
fellas?
I'm not a fan of. Yes, I understand you need a job, right? I understand everybody needs a job. You don't want to lose your job. You don't want to look like a bad person to your leadership or whatever the case may be. But there is no way I'd rather be fired than be the person that's being responsible for trading Luka for Anthony Davis.
Okay, so listen here, right? Here's my look on it. CJ, we talking about Luca being traded right now. Luca being traded. So look, bro was in a lose-lose situation, right?
Yeah.
And it was either he's not going to have a job at the end of the season, regardless. So he could have walked away. He could have said, "No, I don't want my names on this trade. I don't want my name on this trade,"
Right.
and just vanished, like, and could have walked away from his job, and he could be looked at as. And then what would have happened? They would have traded Luca after he left anyway, and we would have understood why Buddy walked away from his job, or he could have stayed, and he could have been like, "Oh, it probably won't be that bad." Like that's what they probably gassed him to say, "Hey, trading him probably won't be that bad." And convinces him, they done convince this man that, oh, trading Luca won't be that bad. It'll be rough for a little while, and then it'll just blow over, and you'll get back to work as usual. They didn't expect this backlash from the fans.
I don't know how they didn't.
That's crazy.
I don't know how they didn't know. You. I mean, it's not like people don't know who Luka is, and it's not just about the city of Dallas. It's not about the state of Texas. This man is an international star.
Yeah.
Right now, Luka is a Hall of Famer. If he stopped playing today, this dude is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is no way that they didn't know.
I don't think they thought it was as bad as they thought. I don't think they thought it was going to be this bad, bro. Because listen, I would rather if they came to me and they was like, "Swerve, look, we ready to trade Luca." I said, "Okay, what we getting in return?"
Right.
And they would have told me we getting that bullshit package in return. I would have said I quit.
Yeah, I mean,
y'all not going to put my name. Y'all not going to put my name.
Like, why would you even just take that? Like, all you got was Anthony Davis.
That's crazy.
A broken Anthony Davis at that. Like, you didn't get nothing else.
That's crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? You didn't get. And then the worst, they got the Lakers' second best player, and sometimes the player that's not even there the most. You didn't get Austin Reeves. You didn't get any.
You didn't get nothing. You just got Anthony Davis.
Right. You didn't get anything else in return, dude. Like, why did you not just wait? Like, if you felt so,
they could have said, "Can we get Cooper Cup? Can we get Cooper Cup? The Cowboys need some help at receiver. Can we get Cooper?"
If you felt so sure that you needed to trade him, why didn't you just wait until the end of the season so you could have done it in the summer or during the draft where you could have gotten a lot more in return? Because for all intents and purposes, this year for the Mavericks is done anyway.
Yeah, it's been done
regardless. So why not just wait?
So look. seeing how the Mavs handle Luca, Mark, CJ, and what I posted and what Reggie Miller said, like the ring culture, like the ring culture will say Mike is 6-0 and undefeated and got 6 rings,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And he didn't have to leave his team to get 6 rings. He was loyal. But then you got a guy like Reggie Miller who had opportunity to leave, but he stayed loyal and has no rings,
Right.
and they clown him. So which one? Like you can't preach loyalty, being loyal to a franchise if your franchise ain't doing nothing to help you compete. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, both those guys' teams made moves to make those teams better. Both those teams, like they went out and got Pippen, they went out and got Grant, they did things. Same thing with Reggie Miller. His teams didn't have the best guys, but they were stacked. Those were good teams. Those were great players. Like you got guys on teams that ain't doing nothing. They just sitting around. Like if you go to Washington, Washington ain't never getting you no help. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So why? That's what I'm saying. So if I get drafted into a franchise like Washington, and after I spend 5 or 6 years in Washington and realize that it's going to be the same cycle, and I want to win a game, you can't fault me for leaving a situation like
Yeah.
Washington and going to play for a franchise that's trying to do what's right and compete, right?
Yeah. One question I'll be wanting to ask these guys when they be talking on these sports channels. We all know they talk about Michael Jordan's determination. There is no way he wouldn't have asked for a trade if they never went and got Scotty and all these other guys and he kept losing the bird and Magic scoring 60. There's no way he wouldn't have been like, yo, I'm out of here. He's too competitive.
Right.
That's true. He
And,
would
and
ask out.
he would ask out. We seen Cole ask out, like,
Yeah.
and that's when everybody be like, "Oh, Cole this, Cole that," but everybody overlooks that Cole on live radio was like, "I want to be traded."
Yeah.
Bro,
And he was going to go to
he wanted to go to Chicago.
Chicago, and he said the only reason the trade didn't go through is because the Lakers wanted Luau Deng back for Cole, and Cole wanted to play with Luau Deng, and he was like, "I don't want to go to Chicago unless Luau Deng is going to be there."
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So
it's look, man, like it looked when you first heard the trade, we all thought it was fake. Then when it happened,
yeah,
we all said it was the worst trade we ever seen. What has this been like 2 months, right? No, March, April, right? Yeah, 2 months. It still looks like the worst trade I've ever seen in NBA history.
Mm-hmm. Well, it didn't
Like
take that
nothing,
long because he got
like
hurt.
nothing that Anthony Davis can do,
It didn't take too
nothing
much.
he can do to make this look any better, bro. Like there's nothing he can do. I don't care if they brought back 2015 Kyrie back. This guy here, man. I mean, I like AD, man, but this ain't it. You know what I mean? And like,
no,
how you even like, it's crazy to me how you let this guy, whatever it was. It just get to the point. Wherever it was that you felt you couldn't deal with Luka, I just would have dealt with it. But what I wouldn't have done is traded him for somebody that may not be able to play every night because their wrist might hurt, the shoulder he might hurt his shoulder getting out of the bed. You know what I mean? He might turn his ankle pressing on the gas in his car. You don't know.
yeah, that's a horrible trade.
It's a horrible trade.
That
It's horrible.
ignorant.
It had to be personal. It had to be.
It had to be. Yeah, there was some pettiness going behind it.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. But,
it had to be like not only personal, it had to be like that's why this is how you know it came from up top. Like It had to be like, I don't care if I lose $500 million personal, get him out of here because trading Luca, who like Black stated, is an international phenom. He's a phenom. Not only is he huge in America, but he's huge across the pond. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Luca is that dude. So to trade him and the only thing you get in return is Anthony Davis.
and
Oh
Nico can't distance himself away from this because
no,
the owners themselves specifically said we know nothing about basketball operations. We can own a team, but we don't know anything about basketball operations. So basically, yeah, Nico could have told them no, this ain't a good idea, and they
no.
would have went with it. But because he didn't say anything, and he wanted him to leave too. So now you
Right,
stuck.
that's so
He's stuck with it.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, bro. Like, I don't know how this dude can even show his face anywhere in Dallas, bro.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No reason to go live in Oklahoma. You live somewhere, but you can't live in Dallas.
No, not right now.
Yeah, but yeah, that was it. That shocked me, man. That hurt my heart to even see Luka out there crying, man. But you know, it is what it is on that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a
So
business. At the end of the day, it's a business.
it's business. Yeah.
See, on the flip side, I'm a Laker fan, and I'm mad because of all the guys that they traded away or gave away. They had so much young talent that they let go. It's almost like they didn't want to develop anybody. They'd rather just go get a already made star. I'm like, there's a list of guys that they had.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like they had Josh Hart there. They had all these dudes, like all these young guys, Ingram. They had all these guys to build around. Julius Randle.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like they didn't want to develop them, and then they gave these dudes away, and these dudes went somewhere else and balled their ass off. You
But
know,
you know
even
what?
Ball. You know, he got better when he left. All these dudes, like
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like I wanted to see them develop, like homegrown. You know, I didn't even really want Bron there. I wanted these young dudes to come in and just take off, like Golden State did. They didn't go out and I mean, I know they went and got Durant, but all them other dudes, they was like regular guys that they drafted or just brought in like low key dudes. They ain't go out and get the best dude out there.
Yeah. This a lot of this what we seeing now, and it doesn't matter what the sport is other than baseball. They're not gonna let brothers come in there and run baseball. That's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But in basketball and football is really about what you can do right now. You know what I'm saying? They don't care about player development. You know what I mean? They don't care about the time it takes to develop a guy or develop a roster.
Yeah.
The only people that have done it the only people that have done it correctly, and it wasn't that, and that was through just tanking, was OKC.
Yeah.
They just got it drafted right. They developed. They watched these guys develop for about 3 to 4 years. Then they traded for my guy from the Clippers when he went to OKC, man. Shea.
Paul George.
Nah, Shea.
So yeah, he got the Paul George. That was
Yeah,
the Paul George
SGA.
trade.
Yeah. They traded
Yeah,
for
SGA.
SGA. Yep, they traded for SGA, and then they just let everyone else develop under that. You know what I'm saying? That's the one team that I can see. Obviously now the Eagles on the NBA or on the NFL side that have sat and watched their guys develop. You know what I'm saying, and built something. But for the most part, man, these owners there's more the owners being not, they're just not patient. Just not patient because they want a quick return on their money right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not worried about winning 4 years from now. I want to win this year. Right? And then you just got some folks that just can't evaluate talent correctly. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these guys are late bloomers, but you wouldn't know that if you trade them after
Well,
year one.
Exactly.
the
Well, you
problem is this. Like you said, late bloomers, but my thing is this. You drafting a kid that's 18, 19 off of what you project him to be at 22, 23.
yeah,
But the issue with that is you draft him at 19, and by the time he turned 21, you already then gave up on him.
Exactly.
And now we don't even get the chance to see him because you drafted him off his potential and projection, but we don't even give that kid a chance to project into what we're expecting because 3 years in, he hasn't developed the way you thought he would. So now you just throw him to the junk tank. Like we look at kids like uh what's buddy from Chester that won a slam dunk contest?
Rondé
He
Hollis.
played at
Oh,
UNLV.
no, no, no.
No.
Derrick Jones.
Derrick Jones.
Yeah, Derrick
Derrick
Jones.
Jones. I watched this kid in high school, and he was definitely an athlete. He went to play ball. Was he one and done? I think he was one and done, and he come back, and he don't get the chance. But you see, he has all the athletic tools.
Mm.
He can jump out the gym,
Right. But it wasn't
and
developed.
but he finally got with somebody gave him a chance, and they developed him, and he became an amazing 3-and-D guy and a super athlete. So it's like I feel like, especially in the NBA, they're drafting these kids off of potential and what they project them to be, but then you give up on them before they can even reach what you,
Hmm.
and that's what happened. Um,
The biggest thing that if we talking specifically on the NBA side, right, and just hoops in general, the biggest issue I have is that a lot of these guys aren't developed because of the AAU program. And what if you just watch the games, right? I know it's a lot of good guys, man. It's a lot of I know a lot of solid folks that is in the AAU, man, that run some programs. But for the most part, dog, a lot of this joint is just is run and gun, dude.
Yeah.
All they doing is jumping, running and gunning. No
Yeah.
real defense. They just getting up and down the court. So they're not learning anything. They're not learning to lock in and play defense, right? They're not learning how to box out. If they see a big man in the post, that's foreign to them. They just gonna shoot the J, right? And then if it's a J, it's a three. It's not a mid. It's not a midi. It's not nothing off the glass. Nothing. So they are learning no fundamentals there. So when you get them to the NBA, right, they play in maybe 1 year at the most or two in college. So they get to the league. These coaches already don't have the time to develop them. They just there on pure talent. But to talent and skill is two different things.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So everybody once you get there, everybody can run just like you can. Everybody can jump just like you can. Everybody has a specified move they have, just like you. What sets you apart from everybody else? What is your fundamentals? What does your fundamentals look like? That's what's getting, like Marv said with Derrick. That's why it took Derrick so long to define his footing in the league. Because he wasn't doing nothing but jumping. He had to lock in on defense.
Yeah.
When he started playing defense, that's when he stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these guys
that's when
here, they think it's just, well, I'm gonna get the bag. I could jump and shoot. Dog, everybody can, dog. Everybody can. What is your specialty? Are you a rebounder? Are you defending? Are you the hustle guy? You know what I'm saying? Or are you gonna be on even just the bench guys? Are you gonna be the hype man that's on the bench? You need to find something. Because if you just out there, you're gonna be home just like us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mark.
Facts. No, I was saying like you speaking facts.
People don't
You
understand, dog.
speaking
Like
facts.
it's a lot to this. You know what I mean? And
Like it's a
I'll switch over, and I could go back and forth. If you got the NBA side, but then you got the NFL side of it in college and the OT7. I'll be watching that. I'll be watching all that on the NFL Network, right? Yeah, they playing flag football, great. They're learning. They're getting some things in there, but even still, are you developing these guys? I'm talking specifically about the quarterbacks. What are you developing in these guys? They don't need to be the traditional guy like a Tom Brady or a Peyton or a Drew Brees. They don't need to be a traditional quarterback.
pocket battle. Yeah.
Right, you don't need to be that, but you need to develop. You need to give them or teach them pocket awareness.
Yeah, that's
Teach
huge.
them how to read coverages.
Yeah,
Teach them how to check in and out of plays.
yeah.
Right now, these guys, they get out there, like prime example, and then we was talking about it, man. Anthony Richardson, dog, my man. You know how easy it is for quarterbacks to complete at least 60% of their passes now, and that brother is at 45%. His dog, his completion percentage for his career so far is 2% below Tim Tebow's for his career.
Cat's got
47%.
That's on them coaches.
Jake,
Man.
Jake Elliott got a better chance. Jake Elliott got a better chance at kicking a 57-yard field goal than that ball got.
I blame AR's people for push because I get it. He wanted to get the bag. Take care of his family. I don't have no issue with that, right? Take care of your family. Please do that. But at the same time, understand this: you are underdeveloped. You only barely played in college.
You barely played in high school, and then you barely played in college.
So at some point, you need to stop and learn the position. Like really learn. You know what I'm saying? And you know you in a bad way when they had to call Joe Flacco, right? They called Flacco, and then they went. I think they went and got back another quarterback that was horrible because you were that much horrible than him.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's like, but I don't want to just jump on him because he's a young man and he still has to. I feel he has the ability to learn and learn this position and grow, but he is a product of just people being impatient in sports is in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Drafting
kids, yeah. If you know you want to draft a project, y'all or the team must be patient. With that guy. Don't be like, well, we need to win now because even with what's around him may not be ready to win right now. So you got a chance to really grow someone and grow a nucleus around him and turn him into a leader. Let that happen because I think if he don't get it right this year, they're gonna get him up out of there.
Oh yeah. But
it's hard to.
It happens. Oh, go ahead, CJ.
No, I was just gonna say it's hard to be patient when you're watching what's going on over there in Washington. You know, these dudes come in and killing them. You know, it's hard.
Yeah, Washington.
Go ahead.
It's hard.
They definitely
win a game. My Giants ain't even gonna win a division game this year. You know what I mean?
But you understand, like everybody's situation. They need these owners and these GMs and these scouts and these position coaches. They need to understand everybody's situation isn't your situation.
True.
Right? look at your overall roster. Look at the overall roster. What can we do and what we can't do? What do we have and what do we need to improve on?
Yeah.
Through drafting. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody thinks, well, you could just go get one free agent and that guy is going to help us get to the playoffs. It doesn't work like that for everybody.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. You got to have a good GM in place. You got to have a good coach in place, and you got to have a patient owner in place. In order for those things to happen, everybody got to be on the same page, right?
Yeah.
And I see that a lot. Like, prime example, we can flip back over to the NBA. You know, that nucleus that the Suns had in 2020 or 21-22, right? They had a good floor general, even though he's on the back end, but he was still hurt a little bit. You know, you had Mikal Bridges. You had Devin Booker, right? You had Ayton, and you had a host of other young guys on that roster.
Cameron Payne actually bounced back into relevance down on that roster.
Yeah, and they went to the finals. They was up 2 and then lost, right? And then they came back the next year and they got back to the. I want to say they got back to the conference finals, but then Luka and them blew them out. Or no, that was the year before that. I take that back. But even still, like you had a nucleus. If anything, the one thing you had to change out was maybe CP3 because he was getting older.
Yeah,
You had a nucleus of a great team growing there. You know what they did? They got a brand new owner. The owner shipped out Booker or shipped out Mikal, shipped out Ayton, and they brought in KD to work with Book. They shipped out CP3, but then they brought in Bradley Beal to come along with it. Dog, I think they've all together might have played 25 games. And they fired
same thing in Brooklyn.
And they fired Monty, right? And then they fired Frank Vogel, right?
Yeah.
And then they about to fire Coach Bud at the end of this year.
But they getting fired. Bud getting fired too.
Yeah, if he not fired by tomorrow, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Impatience. The dude came in. The owner came in straight off the street, switched out a great team, a young team, in favor of an older team, who now got washed out of the playoffs last year and did not make the playoffs this year.
But I think like this.
When it's impossible, it's literally impossible unless you're tanking. With that team, they should at least finished in the play-in. They didn't even make the play-in, dude. They didn't make, and it's hard because you got 10 teams that at least make the play-in.
But I look at it like this. Oh, go ahead, CJ.
No, go ahead. I was just saying it's tougher in the West. They in the East, and different.
I think this though, like you got 2 types of owners, right? You got 2 types of owners.
Right.
You have the owners who look at this as just an investment.
Yeah.
You have the owners like, oh, this team is worth this much. If I cut the salaries, I'm going to dump some of these salaries and just try to make profit off it. If you're just using it, if you're looking at it as just an investment and your franchise is an investment and you're just trying to maximize what you make off of this franchise, that's one owner. Then you have the owners who it's an investment, but I still want to win. Like I'm going to get pleasure from winning out of my investment. And I think those are the other type of owners. Like we've seen that with Golden State for the last few years, for when they had their run, especially when they got one, like they finally got one, and then they came back and Bron knocked them off. Like we seen the difference between Dan Gilbert. I'm going to go prime example. When LeBron was there the first time, it was Dan Gilbert was more so like, I got this kid. he's selling tickets. I may not need to invest as much money into this franchise as I probably should because people are going to come see us play because we have LeBron,
Right.
right? So LeBron's like, yo, I need help. He asked for help for years.
But that help didn't want to come.
Didn't get, he wasn't getting no help, right? How he wasn't getting no help.
Right.
Like instead of going and actually getting him some help, you might have bought in Antoine Jameson, you bought in a washed up Shaq. Like, no, go get this man some help. You feel me? So finally Brown like boom and goes to Miami.
Right.
Right. So now Dan Gilbert then looked at he dumped these salaries and he was blessed with the kid from Akron coming in. So he made over the first 7 or 8 years Brown was there, like he killed the books because you knew the Cavs played late into the season. He made dollar, 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 like boom.
Right.
Brown leaves Cleveland. He back to barely cutting it even. He ain't making that profit no more because Brown ain't there and they not playing in May. They not playing deep no more. You don't sell a million jerseys no more. Like you don't do all that stuff outside of just selling tickets. So Brown goes to Miami, does what he does in Miami. He comes back to Cleveland. And the second time we seen that, oh, I need Tristan Thompson, but Tristan Thompson got paid. I need J.R. Smith. What they do? J.R. Smith got paid.
Yeah.
Go get me Kevin Love. What they do? Oh, Kevin Love is in Cleveland. Kyrie got paid. And that's the difference. Like you have to and Brown proved to them that yo, you need me. Not only do you need me, you need to build a team. And you have the owners who now realize that, like you have them in football. You see what Jeffrey Lurie is doing. We witnessed the period where Robert Kraft did the same thing. We seen where they had when the Giants paid Strahan, Umanure, and Tuck. Like they paid them dudes. It was no questions asked. You have to have an owner that isn't looking at the franchise as just a financial investment. They have to be vested in winning. And when you get that type of ownership, that's when good things happen.
Yeah, because right now, man, that's what we're seeing. You know, people are complaining about the product. A lot of it is people being eligible or available to play on the NBA side, people sitting out and all that case may be. But a lot of it is like you said, a lot of it is just the mentorship, the grooming of these players. If you can't do that, and if you can't develop them in the right way, man, it's gonna be bad. And I don't see how until they get back to that, you're going to continue to see it because everybody wants to get rich quick. And then in some cases, especially in the NBA, the players have more power than the owners now. You know what I mean? You just jump from team to team to team to team, and the player's not being held accountable, right? And I get it. I'm all for player empowerment, but understand at the end of the day, you know, yes, you're worried about your brand, but your brand is predicated off of you winning. You know what I'm saying? It's predicated off of team success. If your team ain't good, then what's happening? We seen it in Philly, right? I don't, you know, this might be something where people don't necessarily care about what I'm about to say. I still like PG. I still like him. You know what I mean? I like Joel, even though understanding that he's closer to the end, I get it. But the one positive thing that PG did was when he saw this year was going nowhere and he was no longer going to be able to play this year, what did he do? He stopped podcasting. he stopped it. And people, you know, you can say what you want about what he did when he was on the court, but I understand, you know, I would shoot him a small amount of bail because he was hurt. So was Joel, and then at the end we found out that Maxey was hurt. I still don't like I don't like Morey right now. And Nurse, I might shoot him a little bit, but we'll talk about that on another show. But the one responsible thing that PG did was he cut off his podcast because he understood that the team wasn't doing well and it wasn't a good look for him to be out there, you know, on a podcast while the team was failing. And that shows to me, that shows a man who's responsible, a man who was he has situational awareness and knows, okay, my guys suck right now for all intents and purposes. You can't just tear the Band-Aid off of it, you know. But that was a smart move by PG, man, doing that. So
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talk every day, so we knew what the season was about.
yeah. You know,
We knew 60 games ago what this season was on,
Yeah.
and I don't even want to talk about them. I hope they get the number one pick. If they don't get if the Sixers walk away from this NBA draft without Cooper Flag, Ace Bailey, or Dylan Harper, then this season was trash for no reason, and they get what they deserve. Like, and I'm a real fan. Like, if you don't walk away with one of them 3 games after this season, you did what you get what you deserve. You deceived your fans because after Joe played in the Olympics, you knew he was hurt. You should have shut his ass down at the beginning of the season, had him and then had him out and bought him back after Christmas. If you knew PG was dinged up, you should have sat PG down and you should have bought him back when he was available. But no, the intent was to sell season tickets. They sold us a dream. They told us we're getting a healthy Embiid and we're getting a healthy Paul George, and we're going to put them together with this uber talented kid that has been shining the last 2 years in Maxey. And this was the year we was getting ready to push up on the Celtics, and then come to find out, Paul George playing with he getting shots and Embiid knee surgery and all this extra nonsense, which y'all knew in the summer. But y'all wasn't gonna let them do it because you needed to sell them season packages.
yeah, and it hurt me the most. Like, I'm still on the side of I don't have no problem with Joel playing in the Olympics, right? But what should have happened right after he got done playing was he should have had that surgery, because come to find out, this surgery he just had could have been had in the summer. They knew he was hurt. They knew he was hurt. You know what I mean? But that's water under the bridge right now. Like, I'm not even going to complain because we've done enough complaining about that over the year. It's just it's crazy to see it, but it should have get off the pot next year. But that's for another show, man.
So let me ask y'all about this. We're gonna jump into college, right? The quarterback from Tennessee has been dismissed because he asked for more money on his NIL deal.
That's his fault.
And then it came out that the Tennessee found out about it because the coach from Oregon called and told Tennessee that the quarterback was sniffing around for a deal. It's two sides. I understand both sides because, like, I don't blame. But I feel like if the coaches do it all the time, and we seen that in the NCAA tournament. How you coaching McNeese State, but you telling you interviewing for North Carolina State because they're gonna give you a better bag. That's Will Wade. My man at Villanova just hired his team is literally in the tournament.
Hey.
And he talking to Villanova about getting a bigger bag.
Yeah, that's true.
As a player, though, as a college player, though, I do see both sides of it too. But as a college player, you're still trying to prove your worth.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's so many other guys behind you. Like it's easy to go get another quarterback and
Right.
pay him less money. There's so many guys like you know how many guys in D3 or D2 waiting to come up and take a job like that that's just as talented as him. On the flip side, you don't have that many coaches that are trying to come in, with big names, especially in the SEC. So
I feel
that
like
he lost a lot of respect, and I don't even know if he's gonna go play somewhere else.
My thing about it is, yes, you can blame the coaches, you can blame whoever that's not in the program. At the end of the day, your name is your name, right or wrong.
right.
Yeah, right.
So when
The
you
great philosopher, that's Marlowe. That's the urban philosopher Marlowe. My
Yep,
name is my name.
my name is my name. So you decided to go out, right? You decided to go out and shop yourself amongst these other programs and do that. Because if he, let's say he stayed there, the Oregon coach wouldn't have had no reason to call Tennessee and say, "Hey, your guy's shopping, looking around for a deal," right? So how you handle your business matters because this is your career. This is your college. This is your college journey.
Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
not think at any point in time that this might get back to them? And then
True.
understand, right? Yes, you took your team to the college playoffs, but what? 15 other teams did too. So it's not like you're any special. It's not like you're any more special than the other 15 quarterbacks that played last year. Who do you think you were? You know what I'm saying? Learn and understand. Like when you're doing business, one, have somebody do your business for you. They would have advised you how to handle your business or conduct yourself.
True.
But now instead of that, now whatever bag you thought you were going to get, you didn't get. And guess what else is going on right now? Each of these colleges are having their spring game, which means
And you
they're already installing their systems with their starting quarterbacks. So what type of bag do you think you're going to get now? It ain't going to be what you thought it was because you decided
right.
that you were bigger than the program.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can't even go back to the program you was with. So you messed you fucked yourself out of one spot and your money. And guess what? From what I understand, he's not even an NFL project right now. He's not projected
Yeah.
to be in the NFL right now.
I know. So see, and that's why I don't fault them for trying to get as big as a bag as they can in college because that NFL contract ain't guaranteed.
But you got to conduct your business in a better manner.
Yeah, true.
Uh, true.
True.
Very true.
Yeah, he did that to himself, man. Like, and it just like the boy that was with Coach Pitino out in St. John's, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, I get. I was Coach Pitino wrong and not keeping him or not giving him a shot to get back in the game? Yeah, if he was your best player, yeah. But at the same time, as a player, understand you take that you take that as a chip on your shoulder, and you go back with your guys because you're a leader. You're a leader there with your guys. You see what I'm saying? You take
Yeah.
that as a chip on your shoulder, and you come back and lead your guys better next year, and you work on your game individually. What you don't do is, oh, my coach didn't play me the last 6 minutes of the game. I'm going to transfer and go to another team. So now these guys that are receiving you know you're a quitter. They know you. They know your heart. It pumps Kool-Aid. They know that. because you quit on these guys. So what makes me think that you won't quit on me if I'm your teammate? If me as a
Patino,
teammate and I'm a senior or I'm a junior and he's coming in and I'm the leader, I don't want him on my team. I don't want
exactly.
quitters. I don't. I don't like it. I don't want to be around quitters. If you're a quitter, get up from around me because I don't need you, and we don't need you as a. Yes, I want you to get your. Don't be wrong, because that's just sports. I want you to get your education, but I don't want you playing on my team. I don't. Work on take a leadership course, something. But you're not gonna play on my basketball team. That's not happening.
Yeah, I think Patino did the right thing, man, because it was more than just him not having a good game. It was the body language. He was being a
Yeah.
cancer. Like, as a coach myself, that's the last thing you need on the team is a cancer, because that shit spreads, and it's even worse when your cancer is on the bench and you trying to coach and they yapping in the ear of the other guys. Now you got one dude that's pissed off, and then it can multiply to 3, 4, 5 dudes that's pissed off. Now you got half the team. He did the right thing by sitting him, man, because it wasn't just he missed shots or he made mistakes. There was other shit involved in that.
Yeah, I think like Buddy was definitely having an off day, but I think like even as a leader, if you having an off day and you know you having an off day, sometimes you have to defer, right?
Yes.
You have to know, like being a good leader is means that you know when you have an off day, so you hand it to somebody else to take control of for that day. Like, man, and I
Yeah.
think, and watching that game, there was he forced a lot. He was pressing the issue, and when things still weren't going his way, he got frustrated, and that's the difference. But again, we're looking at 21 year old, 20 year old kid that comes with developing and being that comes with being developed. Like, I know sports in sports and outside of sports. I know when I'm off at work and I don't feel like things are going my way, and I might get something tossed my way, and I say, hey, look, such and such, can you handle this right now? Because I'm just not up to this right now, or I want to make sure it's done right, and I know I can't do it the way it needs to be done. And that's something that comes with maturity and development. Do I think it was a big enough deal for him to transfer? No. But again, these kids didn't come up the same way we did. So it's like I got told, hey, don't do this as a player. And if I did it, I got told, don't do this. If you do it again, you're not playing. And I had to sit out. I had to sit out for whatever long or whatever long. Now these kids have been so coddled and pampered that it's just like, don't do this. Oh no, I'm comfortable doing this. I don't care if you're comfortable doing this. Don't do this. And instead of taking the coaching and criticism, they just go to the next program. So I that's my issue with the transfer portal. I love the transfer portal, but the transfer portal ain't because your coach is coaching you too hard type shit. It's because I'm stuck behind Black, even though I feel like I'm just as good or better than Black, and this coach is not giving me my opportunity. Then you jump in the transfer portal, or if you started out at a low one school, like you started at a Dell State, and you go out and outperform playing in the MEAC, and you feel like you might be able to compete at the Big Ten, then you transfer up to the Big Ten. I honestly feel like the transfer portal is great when that happens. Or if say somebody gives a guy the Big Ten level of scholarship, and then he can't perform at that level, and you transfer down, that's a good thing too. I like that, but you just can't just like them dudes that done transferred to three schools in 3 years. Nah, cause nah, you might should just give up. Like Auburn starting five and University of Houston starting five was both older than OKC starting five. That's wild to me. You muted, Black.
Yeah, that goes to leadership, that goes to development and mentorship. That's what that goes to. And you got to understand with that, that's why I'm saying development of players, mentorship, and who is in that corner matters. If you don't have those three things ready to go, then it's just trouble. Because who's to say that RJ Lewis is going to make it to the NBA? He might make it overseas, and that's still successful, but that's still on his that leaving because you felt as though you were wrong or someone wronged you. It's still on your. That's still on your. That's a badge you got to wear,
Mm-hmm.
and you gotta convince every program you go into from now on at the college level and at the pro level that I'm worthy of being someone giving or taking a shot on me, and you got to worry about that. Then worry about your play on the court, and then worry about the guys in the locker room accepting you because they know who you are and they know what you did. When things get tough, can I rely on you? If I can't do that, brother, it's gonna be a long road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
yeah. So we got that, and then yeah, it's it's tough, you know. I know I mean we all played 1920 at one point in time, and not everybody couldn't tell us everything. But again, that was in a different era, right? I'll never want to be the guy that says, get off my lawn or be the old head like that. I don't definitely want to be that. But what we, us, and then I think each of these, and I don't know if they all have it or if they do, they don't utilize it enough. But you gotta have, and these guys already have their own villages when they come to these programs. But what they should be trying to do, if you can't reach the kid, reach the village and tell the village, hey, this is what's being said. This is what we need for him or her. How can we help facilitate getting the best out of this kid on the court and off the court to be successful?
Yeah.
If the village, the kids village, and then the player development teams with these situations with these colleges or these professional teams work together, I think you will have a lot more successful young guys and women going forward. So that's it on that.
yeah, that. But like, I was just looking at something, and it's a prime example. Like I forget if it KG and Paul Pierce, and they was talking about Cooper Flag, and they like, if I'm Cooper Flag, I'm leaving school right now. I'm going to somewhere and locking in a gym because I'm gonna go get this bag. But then you got to look like that's coming from he's that's because they're looking at it like how they were. They were their family's chance at generational wealth. So when you're your family's chance at generational wealth, you leave school and you go to the NBA, right?
Right.
Right.
And then there was no NIL back then. So if you Cooper Flag in 1993, uh, and you grew up in the hood, and you can leave college now and go get a $50 million, $30 million deal. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that you leave college and you go to the NBA. But Cooper Flag in 2025 just made $3.5 million in college. Cooper Flag classified up. So realistically, this should be his senior. He should be finishing his senior year in high school, going into his freshman year in college. He's already made $3 million. Maybe he loves school life and can stay in college because his family's not hurting for money. There's a difference when you're your family's financial future versus when your family is already secure and you just happen to be good at basketball. So it wouldn't surprise me if Cup comes back another year. It wouldn't surprise me if Cup comes back another year. We might see his brother get a scholarship to Duke instead of I think he committed to University of Maine, but he might leave University of Maine, and if Cup stays, we might see them play together because it's no guarantee. Like if if Washington gets the number one pick and he don't want to go play in Washington, he can tell them I'm going back to school. His family ain't dependent on him going to the NBA.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why these guys coming out of college, the men and women, they should be better developed. They ain't got to do the one and done. I know they need to gain control of the NIL because right now it's wild how they moving from team to team, but it should be a better product in all these sports because of the NIL, because these guys don't have to be one and done. You can relax, get
Well,
the money, get the paper.
I think that's what's going to happen soon. I think because I think again, guys were leaving college because they were chasing the bag and they were just worried about securing the bag. But I think like if you now that these guys can get paid, I think they will actually like. I'll give an example. Like, because the first round of the NBA is guaranteed money, right? So if I'm a kid and you're telling me I'm a late first round pick as a sophomore or a freshman, if I'm a one and done and you're telling me I'm a late first round pick, there's no way now with the NIL I'm going to leave school
Hmm.
because as much as the 30th guy drafted in the first round of the NBA, he could probably there. I can make that. I can make somewhere around that and still play in college and develop.
Yeah.
So I think it saves us from like every NBA draft is really only like three or four guys that are ready to play right away. But then you have guys like big minutes right away. Then you have guys like, for instance, Jared McCain got tossed in the fire, and Jared McCain was playing 25 minutes a game. Well, I believe Jared McCain plays 25 minutes a game on the Sixers if the Sixers were what they thought they were. No, but Jared McCain also showed that Jared McCain could probably play 12 to 15 minutes a game and contribute. So it's like Jared McCain. Jared McCain could have stayed. Like Jared McCain could have stayed at Duke. But when they said Jared McCain, you're gonna be a lottery pick this year, then being a lottery pick, it's definitely worth leaving and sitting on the bench and making 15, 16 million over the next few years. But if you tell me I'm only going to make blah, 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 I'd rather make the 800,000 in college and stay on campus and live that life and develop as a player. So there are pluses to the whole NIL thing. And I think we're going to reap the benefits from that as college basketball fans going forward.
I hope so. You'll see it first on the women's side. They'll prove it more because they can't do the one and done. You'll see it more there where they're going to develop. The guys are still going to be out of there probably.
Nah, I think because I think this was the whole huge thing. Like Cooper Flag again, I think he signed with New Balance, but Duke is a Nike school. But I think he was still able to collect that New Balance check. He's still able to collect that New Balance check. So as long as they don't put certain like restrictions, I think as long as they don't restrict it too heavily, I think kids are going to start staying. Especially like look at the NFL, like you got Ryan Williams, the receiver from Alabama. He's a freshman. He's killing it. He's going to be a first round pick. But it's like when that time comes, if I can make $4.55 million in college, why not stay in college another year?
Mm-hmm.
Why not stay in college another year?
Yep.
So I know we've been chatting for an hour. CJ, thank you for coming in and joining us. We definitely gonna have you back for the draft. And we gonna talk Giants. We didn't get to talk much football tonight.
It ain't much to say about them.
Yeah, we gotta have you. We gotta have you on again, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you for the invite.
All right, no problem.
No problem. Y'all have a good night. Y'all stay safe.
All right,
Yes,
good night,
sir.
fellas.
Yes, sir. Hey, people. We'll probably be back Thursday. If not Thursday, the next thing, sometime this weekend. Have another show for y'all, man. It was a pleasure to be on with my guy Swerve, CJ as well. You can reach me on Blue Sky at Imagine Life 2. I'm on Instagram with my first and last name, Marcus Blackstock, same place on Facebook. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube, the Black Because I Feel Like It channel. Please subscribe and put out the word that we coming, man. We on the way. You know what I mean? And it is what it is. Tell people where to find you at, Nora.
Swerve Griffin on Facebook. The Black Jason Kelsey on Instagram. I identify skinny on any other platform, Blue Sky, Twitter. But I'm still around. I'm floating around. Not hard to find. I appreciate the support. Thanks CJ for joining us. Y'all gonna probably see his face more often. He's gonna be our resident go-to guy for the New York Giants football team. And thank y'all for locking in. I'll see y'all on Thursday for sure.
Have a good night, fellas.
CJ, where they can find you?
What is on my stuff? I don't even know all my stuff by heart because it's all I didn't change it all over the curvy movement stuff. So yeah, I'll have it ready for you next time. All my stuff is business stuff. It's all curvy. It ain't even about me no more. So it's all party stuff.
All right. Well, get it together so next time when we ask you, they know where to find you, sir. Thank you for joining in.
He's just a brother in the background.
Yeah, man.
All right, fellas, man. Y'all have a good evening, everybody. Good night.
All right, good night.